Bring the bars in. We're gonna get dramatic for this one. Whoa, 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 not that far, not that far! Just about right there. Okay. Cool. Oh my goodness, wow. It's that time of the month. You know what time it is. It's time for pay-per-view recap. This time we're talking Fastlane 2019. Let's get into it. Fastlane is a thing that happened on Sunday night, the 10th of March. It was a thing. Some initial thoughts that I had. One, the whole Shield reunion storyline is feeling a bit rushed. I mean, it makes sense given the way that they're playing it with Roman Reigns coming back from leukemia and Dean Ambrose supposedly leaving the company after WrestleMania. But the fact that they're addressing that on WWE TV kind of leads me to believe that it might be a work. I just feel like if they played out the Shield reunion storyline longer, you could get a much better payoff when they finally did get together. But whatever. There was no Raw Women's title match. There was no Intercontinental title match. I forgot that the women's tag titles were a thing. They were defended on the show. And why is this pay-per-view even happening? But with that being said, let's jump right into the show. The first match on the card was the co-besties, Shane McMahon and The Miz, fighting the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Because remember here, in the new era of the WWE, there are no automatic rematch clauses unless you're tag team partners with Shane McMahon. So they got their rematch after they lost the titles at Elimination Chamber, I guess is when they lost them. Whatever, The match was okay. I'm not a huge fan of babyface Miz. I think that The Miz works better as a heel, but I like that they're giving him the opportunity to do work as a babyface, and it looks like he's going to be going in as a babyface against Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, so that should be interesting. Not really much of note happened during the match. You see The Miz go to the top rope a few times. It's pretty interesting, and Shane McMahon and Uso, whichever one, I don't know which one's which. They're on opposing turnbuckles. Shane McMahon's going for coast to coast, and then the Uso gets up on the turnbuckle, so they both dive out, and Shane McMahon meets him towards the middle of the ring, and they collide, and it was pretty cool. It's an interesting take on the coast to coast because it's basically the same thing every time. So that was nice and much welcome. Shane McMahon sweats out there like that's what he gets paid to do. I don't think they pay Shane to wrestle, to be a pro wrestler. I'm pretty sure they pay him to go out there and sweat. We saw The Miz going to the top rope a few times. He goes to the top rope towards the end of the match, I guess, in an attempt to impress his father, and he ends up getting countered from that into a roll-up small package, and they end up losing the match off of that. It was rough. The Miz beating himself up, talking about, I wish, in front of my dad. We're in Cleveland. They were in his hometown of Cleveland. They go over and they talk with George Mizanin for a little while. And then as they're turning away, The Miz walks to Shane McMahon's behind him, and Shane McMahon decks him from behind, starts absolutely beating on him, gets up in George's face. Shane McMahon heel turn, oh boy. Next up we have Elias come out for the first of 3 or 4 times that he comes out tonight to, sing his songs and basically rip on Cleveland. It was really great. He talked about how, The Miz lost and how he was going to go to LA to hang with his brother LeBron. Got super boos. It was really great. So the next match we have is Mandy Rose versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title. The SmackDown Women's division is kind of hurting for storylines, especially because the Raw Women's title match is 2 women that are on SmackDown fighting the Raw Women's Champion. Especially with Asuka being the SmackDown Women's Champion, there aren't many women in the division on SmackDown that have really any credibility to the point where they could be seen being a credible threat to Asuka. So I think what this match is not necessarily an attempt to build Mandy Rose up to that level, but to show that maybe with the help of Sonya Deville that Mandy Rose could get the upper hand and win. We see in the beginning of the match, Sonya Deville gets involved distracting Asuka early, and that gives Mandy the upper hand, which she has throughout most of the match. Then towards the latter third of the match, we see Mandy Rose go under the ring. She picks up the ring apron, picks up the ring skirt, puts it on the apron, and is looking for some kind of weapon, it would seem. Mandy Rose goes off the ropes, but she steps on the apron and slips, and then when she gets up, she gets met with a spinning roundhouse kick from Asuka, and Asuka pins her and retains her title. The match was okay. I'm kind of worried to see what they're going to be doing with Asuka at WrestleMania. I kind of hope they don't just throw her into another program with Mandy Rose. I would like to see, honestly, Sonya Deville get the nod, because I think out of the two, she is the one that has more promise between her and Mandy. I think that Mandy Rose just has the looks, and she's an okay pro wrestler. I'd say this match gets like a C+. I think it served the purpose that it needed to serve in showcasing that A, Asuka is most definitely on top of the women's division, and B, if done right, maybe Sonya Deville and Mandy working together could beat Asuka for the women's title. Oh, and also a rating for the tag match, C+, B-, whatever. No, just a C. It was alright, I think. I'm tired of Shane McMahon. Alright, so next we cut to a backstage segment. Kofi's waiting outside the McMahon family locker room / office, whatever, saying, oh, he's been waiting here for a while. And they barge in, and Big E and Xavier telling Vince, Kofi's been waiting 11 years. You got to give him the chance. You got to make this match tonight a triple threat. That's the way it's got to be. And Vince is like, you're right. The match tonight is a triple threat, and Kofi, you better get out there, because that match starts right now. It's really cool. They announced it. This match is a triple threat for the WWE Championship. Kofi comes out, and then they inform Greg Hamilton that, oh wait, no, this match is a handicap match against the Bar, and the Bar don't have to tag in and out. We then get basically a handicap squash match between the Bar and Kofi Kingston. The Bar win. Cool. Kind of setting up the idea that maybe Kofi takes this beating now, and then the whole underdog story of maybe when he's in the match later that he could overcome the adversity and finally win the WWE Championship. We'll see later when we talk about the WWE title match how that one goes. Next, we have the Raw Tag Team Championships. We have the team of Blackachet against Glorious Gable against the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Revival. The first thing I want to say about this match is that I wish that I cared. There really isn't a tag team division on Raw, especially one that is taken as seriously as it is on SmackDown. I mean, even given that the tag team division on SmackDown is basically 3 teams, those 3 teams at least put on good matches that get the audience invested in the storylines. But Chad Gable and Bobby Roode held the Raw tag team titles for a while, and after AOP had their whole debacle at whatever pay-per-view that was where Drake Maverick peed himself, now basically the Raw tag team titles are a joke. And I hate to say that because it's the Revival holding them, and I love the Revival, but they're a joke. There were a couple cool spots in the match. There was one where Aleister Black is picking Bobby Roode up with his foot like he used to a while ago for the Black Mass. But as Bobby Roode stands up, he kind of grabs his foot and throws him, like spins him around. He connects with Scott Dawson, who was running into the ring. I thought that was a pretty cool Black Mass spot. And there was also another spot where Ricochet had, I believe again it was Scott Dawson on the top rope, and the other guys were kind of starting to group up together on the outside of the ring, so you knew that something was coming. Ricochet hits a Hurricane Rana, but Scott Dawson doesn't necessarily jump out as much with it, and he kind of lands on the apron as opposed to them all landing on the pile of the other 4 guys. It was still good, and I think him hitting the apron kind of added a little bit more of an element to that move. I don't think that was intended, but I think it still went well. The match was fairly slow paced up until the latter third, or really the latter fifth of the match, where it really started to pick up pace. And I think that fast pace really saved this match. I think it was kind of dragging a little bit until we got to that point. To finish it off, the Revival hit the Shatter Machine on Chad Gable, I think it was, and ended up taking the pin and retaining their titles. There's a scuffle at the end, and Aleister Black and Ricochet end up standing tall. Aleister Black's music plays. So not only do they look strong by standing tall at the end of the altercation, but the Revival also end up retaining their tag team titles. So it was alright. I give the match a B-. The action was good. I mean, all the guys in there are great, and the match itself was good. I just couldn't really care less about the story going on, or rather the lack thereof. Aleister Black and Ricochet just thrown together as a tag team because the WWE don't have anything to do with them until after WrestleMania. I get it. I just wish that A, they either kept them down in NXT for longer, or, you know, had them actually doing something as opposed to just throwing them into a tag team when they came up to the main roster. The next match we had was what was originally scheduled to be, I believe, a singles match for the United States title. It was going to be Samoa Joe and R-Truth. Andrade and Rey Mysterio were going to have a match on the pre-show, but before the show, I believe they announced that the United States title match was then going to be a Fatal 4-Way match with Andrade and Rey added into it. The match was actually really good. Samoa Joe starts off the match really strong, and throughout the match, everybody gets their time in to look good. Rey Mysterio hits, I believe it was Samoa Joe had Andrade on his shoulders, and Rey Mysterio jumps from the top rope and Hurricane Rana's Andrade off of Samoa Joe's shoulders. This isn't the first time he's hit the move, but it looks so good. Rey Mysterio is 44 years old, and he still wrestles better than 3/4 of the people on the main roster today. It's incredible. I love watching Rey Mysterio wrestle. When he first came back, I was, kind of over it, just because he's been around for so long, and it seemed like it was just going to be, another veteran coming back to do those couple matches and do whatever. But Rey's been around for a while, and he's putting on high-quality matches. Especially with Andrade, I could watch him wrestle Andrade forever. Their matches and the work that they do together is just so good. They have such great chemistry. I wonder if they've ever wrestled outside of the WWE. If they did, I would not be surprised, because like I said, the work that they do together is really, really good. Towards the end of the match, Samoa Joe ends up getting hung up on the middle rope. Rey Mysterio hits a 619. Then he gets ready to do his springboard off of the top rope to get into the pin. Samoa Joe dodges the springboard, gets Rey into a coquina clutch, and makes him pass out. Samoa Joe retains his United States Championship. I give this match a B+. I think that so far it was the best match on the card. It was good. What more can I say? Next up, we had the women's tag team title match. The first defense of the women's tag team titles between the Samoan Slaughterhouse. I don't think they're actually calling them that, but they called themselves that, and I think that... Why am I blue? I can't do this angle. Women's tag team title match, so Samoan Slaughterhouse and the Boston Hug Connection. It's the first defense of the women's tag team titles. If I look at my notes for this match, as far as the match itself, I kind of had two things. I wrote, A, Tamina sucks. And 2, I wrote, in the middle of the match, there was a spot where Tamina threw Sasha Banks into the air, and what was supposed to happen was Nia Jax would catch her and then, drop her into the Samoan drop, right? Well, Nia Jax f***ed it up. She either slipped or she lost her balance or something like that. I don't exactly remember. But she had to go down onto a knee. She ended up standing up and still delivering a Samoan drop to Sasha Banks, so it was good on her for the recovery. But it is what it is. The match was pretty lackluster, to say the least. I don't remember how it ended. I remember that Sasha and Bayley won, but I don't remember how it ended. Was it disqualification? Oh yeah. Hurricane Rana into a pin? Dang. Afterwards, Beth Phoenix was on commentary, and afterwards, Tamina starts, talking some smack on Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix gets in her face, ends up punching her. She starts getting beaten up by both members of both members of the Samoan Slaughterhouse. Natalya comes out to run aid, and Natalya just gets beat down as well. I guess this is what we're going with at Mania, is a tag match between these two. Hot take, Natalya's not good. She's just been there for a while, and her dad is famous. Next, the WWE title match. Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan. And you remember earlier in the night, Vince McMahon said it's a triple threat. Well, the third member of the match is Mustafa Ali. It's not Kofi Kingston. So I guess that was kind of a swerve. That handicap match earlier in the night, I guess, was just to kind of keep people on their toes to see maybe if he would come out or not after that. But he didn't. It was Mustafa Ali. And the entire match, the audience is just chanting Kofi Kingston, chanting "We want Kofi." So things are looking good. I still hold true to my prediction that Kofi Kingston is going to win the title at Mania. I think it might be a multi-man match. I originally thought it was going to be a singles match. It might be a fatal four-way or a triple threat. But I think Kofi's taking the belt. The match was really good. I mean, it's three great workers. Daniel Bryan's run so far with the WWE title has been awesome. He's been putting on great matches. He worked really well with Kevin Owens and Mustafa Ali. I think Mustafa Ali really helped kind of elevate the pace of the match because him being a cruiserweight and his style being a lot more different than the likes of Kevin Owens and Daniel Bryan. Added an interesting dynamic to the match. There was one point where Mustafa Ali was perched on the second turnbuckle on the outside, climbing up. Daniel Bryan hits a drop kick and Mustafa Ali launches himself off into the barricade. It was pretty impressive. It looked really good. There was, I don't know what it is, but if Daniel Bryan's gimmick wasn't the whole vegan, new Daniel Bryan being the planet's champion, Daniel Bryan would just be the guy that gets chopped, because in his matches, he just gets chopped so much more than anyone else, to the point where Corey Graves on commentary, they were talking about how his chest looked like hamburger meat. It really wasn't that bad. And Corey Graves said that Daniel Bryan would be ashamed if he found out that his chest looked like processed meat. Corey Graves is an unsung hero on the commentary table. The match was really good. At the end of the match, Mustafa Ali is going for a move off the middle rope. He jumps off, I think it was like a middle rope Phoenix Splash? Is that what that's called? The one where you do all the flips and stuff? I don't know. But he's doing a flip in midair, and Daniel Bryan catches him in midair with his running knee, and that's how he picks up the victory. In total, this match I would give an A-. I thought this match was really good. Daniel Bryan looks great. Kevin Owens didn't take the pin, which kind of makes me think that he might somehow end up in the match at WrestleMania. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. They're really playing off the whole Kofi got screwed thing, so I'm pretty sure he's at least going to be in a match for the WWE title at WrestleMania. The next match we had was Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, and the stipulation being if Becky wins the match, she's added to the Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania. Becky Lynch comes out still on one crutch, so they're really selling this leg injury like it's a really big deal. And that was basically the focus of the entire match, was Charlotte attacking Becky's injured leg. Becky would get a little bit of offense in here and there, and then Charlotte would go back to the leg and slow her down. That's basically how the match went for, 5-7 minutes maybe, and then Ronda Rousey comes out after Charlotte Flair locks in a figure four on Becky Lynch. Ronda Rousey charges down the ramp, comes up to the ring, kind of looks at both of them, and boom, pops Becky Lynch. So then technically, Becky Lynch wins via disqualification. She's added to the match at WrestleMania. I mean, Ronda Rousey kind of just came out, punched her, stood there for a little bit, and then left. Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it gets to the finish that we want. Charlotte Flair was about to beat Becky. Becky somehow finds a way to get into the match without having to tap out. Ronda Rousey with a heel move. It works. I can't really complain, but I would say I'd give this match a B-. No, a C. This match gets a C. It served the purpose that it needed to do, so, okay, but, yeah, it was alright. And then, to finish the show, we had the Shield versus the new Shield, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin. I didn't watch this match because I don't care. I'm not sure what's going on with Dean Ambrose, especially now that, like I said, they're talking about him leaving on WWE TV. I understand if he's leaving and the whole angle they're playing with Roman just coming back from leukemia to have that one final moment with your brothers. Like, I get it, but I don't like it because I think if they waited and they waited longer to have them reunite, you know, to have some tension in the ranks, maybe have some matches between the members of the Shield, and culminating to something maybe at SummerSlam or maybe even WrestleMania next year, would be awesome. WWE doesn't really let their storylines play out very long anymore. The longest feud that we had running would have been Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, but now Tommaso Ciampa just went under neck surgery a few days ago, so he's going to be out for, I think, at least 6 months. I didn't watch the match. I'm not going to grade it. In total, I'd say the show gets a C+. It wasn't bad. The matches on the card were serviceable. Like I said, they filled the roles that they needed to fill. It was just nothing to write home about. This pay-per-view really didn't need to happen. Like I said, no titles changed hands. I mean, the only thing really of note to talk about is that Shane McMahon turned heel on The Miz. But even that, like, I don't care. I don't want to see Shane McMahon anymore. I don't know. I firmly believe that Fastlane did not need to happen, and that if we went from Elimination Chamber to whatever 6 weeks of Raws and SmackDowns, we would have been fine. Let me know what you guys thought about Fastlane in the comments below, and also let me know what you thought about this video down in the comments below. If you enjoy seeing pro wrestling content on the channel, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know that you want to see more of it, and share it with your friends. We can all talk some pro wrestling here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on Thursday with the 10-week checkup for the year vlog.